Hello there, and welcome back to another video. Thank you to my good friend Julie for this great idea. If you're into Funko Pops and just Star Wars collectibles in general, give her a follow because her collection is insane. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the difference between canon and legends in Star Wars. Without further delay, let's get into the video. To start us off, I think we should define what canon and legends actually is. There have been a few different definitions over the years, but I'll just talk through the current state of it to avoid any confusion. Star Wars canon is the official continuity of the saga. This was announced by Disney on the 25th of April 2014, with it referring to exclusively George Lucas's Star Wars. This includes his 6 movies, the Clone Wars series and movie, as well as everything created by Lucasfilm after the Disney acquisition. All material published after this date would be part of the new canon, beginning with the Rebels series and the novel A New Dawn. The only novels published prior to Disney having control that remain canon are the film novelizations, for the most part. I'll go further into detail on that later in the video. It's important to remember with canon too that if any contradictions arise, always refer to the original 6 films and the Clone Wars series. Star Wars Legends was formerly known as the Expanded Universe, or EU for short. The EU was rebranded as Legends by Lucasfilm on the same day as the updated canon announcement, 25th of April 2014. This was done in preparation for the upcoming sequel trilogy. From that day on, everything that wasn't the original 6 films and the animated Clone Wars movie and series was known as Legends. This applies to books, comics, games, and animated series such as the 2003 Clone Wars one. A potential grey area here is the novelizations of the original 6 films. For the most part, they are canon. However, if anything in the novel contradicts what is seen on screen, always defer to the movie. A great example of this is in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, where it mentions Depa Billaba falling to the dark side. We know this not to be the case in canon, as we see her die during Order 66 in the Bad Batch. This dark side storyline is told in more detail in the Legends novel Shatterpoint by Matthew Stover, who also wrote the novelization for Revenge of the Sith. This is an example of there being a Legends version of a character and a canon version of a character. Legends can however be used as a reference point in canon. We'll stick with Depa Billaba for a moment. In Legends, she takes on a mission on the planet of Harun Kal, which is where she falls to the dark side. She ends up feeling the effects of her injuries after a duel with her master Mace Windu, and falls into a coma, which she stays in at the Jedi Temple for an endless period of time. In canon, she is on Harun Kal once again, however this time she's up against General Grievous, and her clone battalion suffer terrible losses. Master Billaba herself was injured to the point of falling into a coma, which she stays in for 6 months at the Jedi Temple. There have been instances of Legends characters being reintroduced into canon, with the most famous of these being Grand Admiral Thrawn. He made his debut in Timothy Zahn's novel Heir to the Empire, the first book of the Thrawn trilogy in the early 90s. This trilogy was credited with beginning the expanded universe, with George Lucas using the planet Coruscant from the Thrawn books in the prequels. The Thrawn trilogy was labelled Legends after the Disney acquisition, however characters and concepts were reintroduced into the new canon. Thrawn himself made his canon debut in the Season 3 premiere of Rebels. Timothy Zahn created another Thrawn trilogy, however this one he adapted to the new canon. It begins with the first time Thrawn encounters the Empire, and finishes just before the start of Season 3 of Rebels. The last point I want to quickly touch on is the books you'll see labelled with the Legends or Essential Legends banner. I'll use the Kenobi novel as an example. It was originally published in 2013, just before Disney announced the new canon and Legends continuities. You'll see it here without any banner on it. The novel was republished a year later in 2014, after the canon and Legends announcement, and as you can see here, it now has a Legends label. There is also the Essential Legends version, published in 2022 with new cover art. The Essential Legends label was a series of reprints of select books, published by Del Rey and now Random House Worlds. It was created in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm. Some other reasons behind the concept were it being a way in which to get Legends novels back in stores, as well as making it easier to navigate such a large franchise. For example, the original Thrawn trilogy of the 90s wouldn't have been as easily available without the Essential Legends collection. Since its republishing as part of the Essential Legends collection in 2021, I can walk into any bookstore and get my hands on them, which I have. That's it for this video, and once again thank you to my good friend Julie for the idea. I had a lot of fun creating this, and I learned a thing or two along the way as well. Let me know if I've missed anything that you would like covered, and I'll be more than happy to answer it in a future video. We are getting pretty close to 500 subs as well guys, so if you haven't hit that sub button yet, I'd be incredibly appreciative if you did. Until next time, may the Force be with you, always.